je net omdat ik... Ja.
Well, everybody's heard about the bird.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to NASA Bunker 33. I'm your host, Quiddy's the Sprinkler, and with me, as always, is the producer that never fucks anything up ever and probably is muted. Zoomy, how are you doing tonight?
I am not muted, but I am doing fine.
Hey, all right. And we also have a Psycho Bob. How are you doing tonight?
Just busy painting the walls with angry paint.
Wonderful. Uh, I have a question for everyone before we get started tonight. This is
Oh
both
no.
to you two as well as people in chat. Does anyone have any experience with plasma TVs? Because I've got this older uh, LG plasma TV. I mean, when this thing came out, this was one of those, $2,000 TVs, and it's built like a tank. It's like 15 years old and it's a great TV. But I noticed something earlier. I have some ghosting in the bottom right of the screen. And so a few minutes ago, I decided to try white uh, you're supposed to be able to like whitewash the screen and eventually the ghosting or burn in will disappear. But I don't know how long I'm supposed to leave it like this. And it doesn't look like it's going away. So if anyone knows anything about them, has any idea, let me know.
I have no clue whatsoever. So, sorry.
Yeah. Beyond my kin.
It's kind of annoying. I mean, my other TVs are like the LCD, LED, newer TVs, but uh, this is the largest TV that I have, so it's in the living room, and until it actually dies, it's going to be my living room TV.
Factory has
But
a recommendation. Do you have a truck,
uh,
and how far is the landfill?
yeah, that's not going to happen as long as it still works. We're not taking it to the landfill.
Yeah.
Plus, even though like the flat panel TVs are a lot lighter than the old CRT TVs, uh, I think this thing would kill me trying to lift it. With my bad back,
Yeah.
this thing probably weighs almost as much as I do.
Damn. Okay, then, yeah. Not a good idea,
Okay.
then.
All
So, in
right.
essence,
So
it's
what are we doing tonight? Well, welcome to October, everyone. It's now October. It's my favorite month of the year because it's no
October.
longer 40 degrees Celsius every day, all the time here.
Yeah, yeah.
And the month ends with Halloween and then my birthday. So it's a great month.
Yay.
So welcome to the Spooky Bunker, where we'll be covering spooky things for the month.
Like this week's topic. Yeah, I chose this one. It's the
Yep.
Pokemon Pastor Stephen Dollins, and we'll be going over, his experience as a Satanist. And the second video will actually be should Christians celebrate Halloween?
We're also going to delve into some ghost stuff and maybe some demons because, every October it's like a tradition at NASA Bunker 33. Every October we try to summon Lucifer.
Yeah, I'm trying right now, but it doesn't seem to be having any effect.
Yeah,
I got a
we still
circle.
have the pentagram and the black candles,
Yeah.
but I mean, no Lucifer
Mm,
yet. You guys keep your eyes out. Maybe he'll show up. Maybe he won't. Maybe he'll send some uh, pissant second-rate demon or something. Who knows?
Yeah, PJC Net really needs to be here because he's the demonology expert apparently.
Yeah, and we can add in a few subliminal messages so that he'll become possessed
By the spirit of reason.
well,
by whatever the fuck we can possess him with, because that would be hilarious.
So next week, we might be doing demon possessions. So that means I'll have to bring up the Greg Glock Deliverance conference.
Ugh.
That's gonna be fun. Where he talks.
All right, so what do we
Yeah.
have tonight?
Yeah. We have Stephen Dollins here talking about how Pokemon and Magic the Gathering cards are what's the word?
Satanic.
Yeah, satanic.
Now,
Yeah, because
a lot of
Pokemon is satanic.
Yeah,
I mean,
'cause it has
I was a
evolution in it.
Christian until Pokemon was invented.
things come over from the Orient. A lot of things come over from the Orient.
Okay, pause.
And some things.
Two things here.
Already.
It was one until I saw him. So, I won't talk much about the mullet, but that is a pretty bitchin' mullet.
Yeah.
But the main thing here is calling it the Orient is pretty racist.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the dude is. He's
I mean,
he's a
literally-
fundamentalist Christian. He's a fundamentalist Christian.
Yeah.
So
Literally, the only people that still call it the Orient are racist, fundamentalist, right wing.
and this
Christian.
was just as a side note, this was recorded in 2017.
Oh,
Yeah, 5 years ago.
I would have thought like 1996
No.
ish,
Well,
judging by the video quality and
it
the mullet and
was uploaded in 2017, so
Yeah,
it's
well.
possible. It's possible it was recorded back then, but I'm not entirely sure.
yeah.
I'm just waiting to hear news on this guy getting sued by Danny McBride for stealing his look.
Yeah, he definitely looks like John Goodman and Danny McBride had a love child.
Yeah, he does. He does.
What's that show on HBO? The Righteous Gemstones, where
Yeah.
John Goodman plays Danny McBride's dad.
Oh God.
It's a great show, by the way.
Well, anyway.
Especially if you ever wanted to see Walter Coggins' penis, I highly recommend watching that show. If you don't want to see Walter Coggins' penis, I still recommend the show, but there's one scene that you should probably close your eyes for.
Noted.
Great. In fact, he asked another important question. Is that your brother with hair?
And no.
Well, let's continue with this.
Things have a big impact on us, and some things don't. I can't think of anything that come over from the Orient that actually had a big impact or a phenomenon type craze.
Oh my God, he does sound like Danny McBride.
Yeah, he does. I knew you would point that out.
Yeah.
That's why I picked
And I
it
also
too.
saw Charlie Welch said Tom Arnold and Meatloaf.
Yeah, I could see Tom Arnold and Meatloaf having a baby, and that's what popped out.
Where do you
than
think Danny
Godzilla.
McBride came from?
But there is something new that's come over to the United States and has actually captured the minds and the imagination of every single child. And you know what? It's not new at all. Japanese kids have been watching this thing since 1995. It started out as a cartoon, went to a comic book. They made it into a video game, went to toys, collectible.
It started off as an anime. It first started off
started
as a
off-
game.
Yeah.
Then it made to an anime, and then they made the cards. And they also had a few comics as well whenever they did the anime. The manga. They had the manga series while they were making the anime. No, wait, actually, no, they had the manga first. They had, first it was the games, then they made the manga out of it, and then they made the anime based on the manga. And then the movies and everything else.
And then they stole everyone's socks.
And then I will be getting Sapphire or no, I'll probably be getting Violet. I can't decide which one I want, Violet or Sapphire next month. But anyway, I'll be getting either Sapphire or Violet next month.
Ah!
And yes, Renee, you gotta love the mullet. You gotta love the mullet.
It is a pretty bitchin' mullet.
Yeah,
I'll give him credit for that. And you cannot have a mullet without a goatee. But
yeah.
I'm going to have to deduct points here because he doesn't have sideburns.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's
that is
definite deduction of points there.
I mean, you got to throw in the mutton chop sideburns.
Yeah, totally.
You can't have your mullet game without the sideburns. That's just
yeah.
That's
now,
hillbilly law.
praise God, there's even a movie on it, and it was started in 1995.
Okay, so
a movie on it.
Okay, since the only movie that happened was the one with you two at this time, this has to be around 2000, I think.
Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. Like, this is probably late 90s because look at what's behind him. One of those overhead projectors.
99.
And those haven't been a thing for 20 years.
Well, I just want to point out with these guys, it could have just been made like recently with the really shitty camera, and he doesn't know about more Pokemon movies.
Yeah, true.
It is a legitimate possibility.
That is true. That is true.
I've been kind of blown away at like how backwards technology is in Russia, especially with the mobilization that's going on in Russia. Apparently, Russia doesn't know how to use computers. So all of their files on people who have served in the military are written on paper and filed in metal filing cabinets in recruiting offices around the country.
Yeah.
So people who are being drafted are going to these recruiting offices and burning them to the ground. Because if you do that, you destroy any records they have of you being in the military, then you're probably not going to get drafted.
Hold on.
Like they don't know that computer and internet is a thing there.
But yet,
so maybe he's just Russian.
I'm just imagining some Russian guy going, "Cannot hack is hard copy." Hold on, let me hack these. Lights match.
I mean that's literally what Russian hacking is these days, is trying to burn down conscription offices.
Yeah, but we have these troll farms and everything like Kiwi farms and Russian disinformation agents on Facebook and Twitter.
Oh yeah, there are Russian bot farms everywhere. Like, yeah, they do have. If you learn how to use a computer in Russia, basically the government will be like, "Hey, do you want to be a disinformation officer?" And then you basically get paid to run a bot farm and spread disinformation all over the internet.
And pretty much all of QAnon is nothing but Russian disinformation bots. That's all QAnon is. It's run by the fucking Russians.
I mean, it's a lot of white trash Americans too, but
yeah, but most of the information that those white trash Americans are buying come from Russia.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's a shit ton of Russian disinformation in the Western sphere.
Especially during especially during the election, the one between Hillary and Trump.
Yeah,
there was a fucking lot of Russian disinformation on Facebook, and that's why a lot of the reason why Hillary lost was because of that Russian disinformation.
Yeah. I mean, I've really following the war in Ukraine, and seeing the methods that Russians use to spread disinformation, looking back at the 2016 election and pretty much everything that's happened since Obama was a thing.
Yeah.
Like so much of that just smells like Russian
Russian.
propaganda.
Yeah. Because it
Smells
is.
like Russian disinformation.
Because it is. Why do you think Why do you think Facebook had to actually what's the word clamp down on that shit?
Yeah.
It,
Well, and see that's the thing because Russia doesn't have the power to you
actually
know
influence things.
be a superpower and actually have influence in the world. So their entire tactic is to undermine
Yeah.
everyone else, to
Yep.
weaken everyone else down to their level.
Yeah. Pretty much. And now we have QAnon, which is fueled by the Russians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing about like the QAnon and people like that they always talk about Hillary.
My internet's a little bit choppy tonight, so yeah. Probably some after
Well,
effects from Hurricane
that's what
Ian.
happened. Okay.
Probably after effects from Ian, so be prepared for
And
that.
yeah, I see Facty said crazy Russian hacker isn't a disinformation agent. And yeah, that's the funny thing. But then again, crazy Russian hacker isn't actually Russian.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's Ukrainian.
probably. But anyway, that's far off from the topic, so let's get back to the video.
I could be wrong there. It's either he's Russian that lives in Ukraine or he's Ukrainian that lives in Russia or something. I can't remember, but yeah.
That's far off from the topic, so let's get
Anywho,
back.
we got way off topic. Let's
Yeah.
go back to Captain Mullet here.
It's not new, but it's new to kids, and they're eating it up.
Yeah, because it's fun.
And it's called Pokémon. And it stands for Pocket Monster.
Yeah.
And it even made the cover of Time magazine. Now, the first thing I want you to notice is, do you notice any symbol up there that you've seen before?
Is that a
The spiral.
monster in your pocket? Or are you happy to see? Yeah, I
Gosh.
It's a monster.
see a Pikachu. I've seen a Pikachu before.
That's a Poliwhirl. That's a poly. No, that's not a Poliwhirl. That's Poliwag? I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've seen the original 150. But yeah, I think that's a Poliwhirl. I think.
I mean-
so. I can't remember.
That's a spiral. Spirals have been. There are cave paintings in France and there are carvings in rocks in fucking Scotland.
Yeah.
That are 10 to 20,000 years old that are spirals. And I'm pretty sure it's not demons just sitting there in the cave waiting on people.
Well, he's about to get into what he thinks the spiral means. So.
And it stands for what? Male fertility. Okay?
It's my internet, is what it is. Yeah, my internet's going in and out right now. Sorry about
Yeah.
that. Stupid fucking hurricane. But I'm back. But
Oh.
yeah.
Looks like we're back. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we're back. Wait, you couldn't hear me just then?
Good. Chose not to.
I mean, we could hear you, but the stream was buffering, so
But yeah.
they couldn't hear you.
But yeah, what I was saying was,
And I mean they with a capital TH.
yeah, not a weasel word they, but they as in the chat. But yeah, but the spiral thing. How is that male fertility? Because I always saw the spiral as like a hypnosis thing, as a psychic thing.
Well, like I was saying, Danny McBride's
Yeah.
uglier, dumber brother here thinks that every man has a duck penis.
That or
Therefore, spiral is fertility.
Okay, that Okay. I think
Battery's
it's
a fan of Junji Ito's Uzumaki.
Oh God, it's a monkey. Anyway.
Now, this thing is actually called Polyworld, but they
Polyworld,
actually had
yeah.
another name for it before they renamed it. When
And
this
yeah, his
creature first
congregation
came
does
out, it
look
was called
very transfixed on this.
Yeah, he is. No. He gets even worse when it comes to Mewtwo. He loses it with Mewtwo. But you'll see.
Hypno. And they changed it to Polyworld to make it a little more innocent. But you see, what it actually does is it's supposed to be able to mesmerize and hypnotize its enemies.
Yes, because it's a psychic water type.
And we're buffering again. We keep buffering on the stream.
It should be fine.
I don't know what you can do to stop that.
I can't.
No.
My internet's just shitty tonight because of Hurricane Ian. Still,
Yeah,
because
I don't know. Yeah, Real Signa says that any symbol is whatever you define it to be, and this is true. Symbols
Yeah.
mean different things to different cultures
People.
and different people.
Yeah.
Of course, we all know about what the Germans used in the 1930s. Didn't mean that before then.
Yeah.
But another one that I find hilarious, if you ever go to Hadrian's Wall of the UK, there are penis carvings everywhere
yeah,
because the Romans saw penises as a sign of protection. So they were carving penises all along Hadrian's Wall as protection.
yeah. And there's the whole penis. In Japan, there's the
Yeah.
what's it called? There's a whole parade with it, with just
Oh,
penis
it's even
carvings.
got its own yokai.
Yeah, it's even got its own yokai. The penis has its own yokai in Japan. Anyway.
Yeah. Things, one culture may think that a spiral means fertility, that it means women's rights. I don't fucking know, but that's how culture kind of works. I don't think he understands that.
He doesn't understand that different cultures have different meanings for different things. Essentially.
Yeah.
Let's get back to it.
And you can see how that would happen.
Not even.
That starts spinning around, and it's just like one of those hypnotic wheels that they use to hypnotize. And you see up here in the top, here's a creature, an alligator-type creature over here, dragon.
Blastoise.
Kind of a
Wait,
funny
I have to
duck-billed
pause
thing
it
down
again
here.
because he implied something there. He said that it was for fertility, but then if it starts spinning around, it'll hypnotize you. So is he trying to imply that the Pokemon character is going to hypnotize kids into having sex?
That's what it sounds like.
That's the conclusion that I'm getting from what he just said.
That's what it sounds like to me, yeah. But
anyway, I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, let's continue.
And this is an interesting character over here. This character over here is called Mewtwo. And Mewtwo looks like an alien. If you look at him real carefully, he looks like an alien. But the first thing that I noticed about that thing is, when I looked at it, and I looked at those eyes, I said, you know what? That kind of looks like the things that we used to pray to inside that circle.
How does he know what an alien looks like?
Yeah, how does he know what an alien looks like? Like, seriously.
Has he gotten fertility probed by the aliens before? Like, it just looks like a fucked up cat to me.
Yeah, it just looks like a cat to me, yeah. Because it is a cat. It's based on a cat.
It's warned me. I have to say, the only alien movie he ever saw was E.T.
No, it's not. It's a demonic alien.
Like I was saying, the only movie I think this guy's
When
seen
ET
is
got excited, we know what happened to his neck.
that he just spent the whole time in the theater pointing at the screen going, "Ah!"
Is a particular salute that he's given. And he's in this pose. Every time that you see Mewtwo, he's in this pose. Now, he has 3 fingers. And those 3 fingers are always sticking out like that. Now, he doesn't have 5 fingers like we do. He has 3. But if they were the 3 on us, they'd be this. And that doesn't mean hook 'em horns, doesn't mean I love you, doesn't mean one more. It means hail Satan. It's the satanic salute that...
No, it doesn't.
That's 2 fingers, dude.
That's 2 fingers.
I love you in sign language. But when you roll your thumb in, that's the hell Satan sign. But that's only 2 fingers.
Yeah, that's 2 fingers.
Yeah.
Not 3.
We only really do that when something is metal as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
And it doesn't mean hail Satan. It's just rock on. That's really all it means. It has nothing to do with Satan.
Yeah. And then NC State has this weird like wolf thing that they do it with their hand. Yeah, they're stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
that all Satanists identify themselves with.
All right, keep going.
And it says here, you look here, it says for many kids, it's now an addiction. Very much so. Cards, video games, toys, a new movie. Is it bad for them?
No.
What we need to look at is whether or not that particular statement holds true. Is it bad for them?
That's not a that's a question, not a statement. That's not a statement would be it is bad for them, not is it
Does
bad
he know
for them?
how English works?
Apparently not. Apparently he thinks questions are statements.
It's one of the characters. Cute little one. Everybody, okay, everybody go, oh, come on.
Pikachu!
I know you wanted to do that, see? That's why I did that.
Pika! Pika P!
He's cute.
Pika P!
But the one
Pika.
thing I noticed about him right off, this is Pikachu. One thing I noticed about him right off was his tail. It's a lightning bolt. And it's a satanic Z. It even comes down here to a...
Wait. For one, that doesn't look like any Z I have ever seen. That doesn't look like any Z I have ever seen. What type of Z?
What is a satanic Z?
He
Hang on. I'm going to Google this.
He's a fan of the whole gematria thing, and he thinks
What is a satanic Z?
and he thinks that different things, symbols have different meanings.
Apparently, there's no such thing as a satanic Z.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, literally, I Googled what is a satanic Z, and there's nothing except, random images of a Z with horns on it and a tail. From vector stock images. So he's...
Dude, you're roboting really bad.
making it up.
You are roboting really bad right now. I'm only getting half of what you're saying. Queries?
I think
Yeah, I can't hear anything you're saying. Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, let's try that. Or can you hear me a little better now?
About the same. Our internets are just fucking awful right now.
Yeah. So apologies to people that if you don't know, hit by a hurricane yesterday, and while it didn't fuck shit up here a lot, it kind of fucked shit up. So
Yeah.
both of our internet took kind of crap right now.
Yeah. Both our internets are kind of shitty right now. So yeah, Hurricane Ian didn't really.
Fatty, it was windy here today, but it's hilarious. So originally, until like what 6 p.m. or so, the hurricane track, it looked like the eye of Ian was going to hit me, and it was getting worse. Like my house was shaking. I've got limbs down and everything, and around the time the eye was actually supposed to hit me, the wind just stopped. Like it kind of surprised me. It just stopped being windy altogether. And so, yeah, it went east of me, luckily. So I didn't get the worst of it.
However, power went out for about 8 hours altogether. That was fun. I just sat back and played some
Yeah.
Persona 5 on my Switch. Well, no, I played Pokemon on my Switch, and I switched to Persona 5, and then
Yeah.
by the time I did anything on that game, the power went back, and I was like, fuck it, I'll go back to Chrono Trigger on the computer. So yeah, that was
I mean,
okay.
when you live in a place where hurricanes can hit and do on a regular basis, you
Yeah.
get used to it and you know how to prepare for it.
Yeah.
So I'm one of those people that always over prepares. Like I've got gallons of water ready in case the power goes out, because I have my own well. So if the power goes out, I can't pump water. And bought a bunch of canned food to eat, and did all this stuff in preparation, and then didn't need any of it. And the power just blinked here a few times. That was it.
Well,
So
I have around 12
hopefully
cans.
my internet's doing a little bit better now.
I have about 12 cans of ravioli, lasagna, and whatever else I bought, because, yeah. Just stuff you can open without having to worry
my
about
lunch
can for anything.
my lunch today was a can of Chef Boyardee beef ravioli and half a can of Bush's baked beans.
I had also cooked a nice big pot of pasta right before the power went out, so I was lucky to have cooked that beforehand, and it lasted me until today, from Thursday until today. So when I cook a lot.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think my internet's doing a little bit better, so let's get back to it.
All right.
Oh yeah, the
Pikachu.
satanic Z that doesn't actually exist in reality, that he just made up to suit his narrative.
Yeah, for one, like I said, it doesn't look any Z I've ever seen before myself. Two, how was Z
that's
satanic?
not a Z.
How was Z satanic? And oh god.
I mean, Z now is a Russian Nazi symbol, but
yeah, but
that's not really satanic.
Yeah, that's just propagandistic. And, yeah, anyway.
Just by looking at him alone is not enough to really be able to say, okay, yeah, that's bad or that's satanic. What we first need to do is we need to look at the actual production.
There is a conspiracy theory though concerning Pikachu. Some people think that his tail used to be black. There used to be like a black stripe on his tail, and it's part of the whole Morgan Freeman effect thing. So yeah, that was one of the Morgan Freeman effect things, that his tail
Maybe
was
we
black.
should do an episode on Freeman effects.
Yeah, we should do it. We should totally do an episode.
Who've ever done an episode on that?
Yeah, we've never done an episode on the Morgan Freeman. We really should do an episode on the Morgan Freeman effect. That's just something. That's something that we it sounds like something we would do, but we haven't done it yet. So we should definitely do one. Maybe December. Maybe December we'll do it. Do a Morgan Freeman effect episode.
Yeah, we'll schedule that for November after the October stuff, the spooky bunker.
The spooky.
Production of these things. And the first thing we need to do is we need to look at who actually produced the trading card game that has captured the minds and the imaginations of our children.
Ooh. I know this one. Wizards of the Coast. And guess where he has a problem? With just think of the name. Wizards of the Coast. I'm going to make a prediction. I haven't seen this video.
Wizards aren't saying.
I haven't seen this video. Just so you know. But I'm going to make a prediction.
Well, go ahead and make your prediction.
He is going to say it's witchcraft. That Pokemon somehow gives kids power through witchcraft or something like that. Something to that effect. But yeah, that's my prediction.
I mean, this is some real Flurf logic going on here. He's like, look at the tail, it looks like a Z. And look at this thing, it looks like an alien. Therefore, the Earth is flat.
Yeah, pretty much. He does remind me of Flurf logic a lot. There's a lot of symbolism going on, and he's not getting any of it. He's getting it completely wrong. Just like any flat earther does.
That's one good thing about flat earthers. Flat earthers taught me how conspiracy theorists really think. And now every time I hear Flurf logic in something, which is how every conspiracy theorist thinks, but my brain just calls it Flurf logic now.
Yeah, pretty much. It's Flurf logic.
Now, it doesn't make any difference what I say.
All right, keep going.
It's what their own material says, because their own material will give them away. Okay? So I'm going to read to you. Here's the direct quote from the web pages of the producer of this game. Listen to this. The Pokemon trading card game is a new collectible card game that is made and distributed by Wizards of the Coast. What is a wizard? Male practitioner of black magic. Wizards of the Coast, the same company that made the best-selling game Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering is a heavily occult-laced trading card game which has been very popular in the 90s. And I should also tell you that Wizards of the Coast also owns a subsidiary company
named
TSR, and TSR...
Pause it. There. So let me get this straight. He's shocked that a company that makes trading cards made trading cards.
Yes.
Like, this is what they do. It's like it's like saying that a company that makes baseball cards made baseball cards.
Or a company that made baseball cards also made basketball cards. That's more apt.
This is what they do. This is their company.
Yeah, it's kind of their
What
company.
seems to be the problem here? Does he think that these cards should be made by a place that makes toilets, or what?
And then there's also D&D, which is made by Wizards of the Coast. Funny story though about D&D, about Dungeons and Dragons. Gary Gygax, the actual original creator of Dungeons and Dragons, was a Jehovah's Witness. So we have Jehovah's Witnesses to thank for Dungeons and Dragons.
Huh.
I just thought that was an interesting little side note that the creator of Dungeons and Dragons was a Jehovah's Witness.
I I bet this guy gets really fucking triggered that Mattel made a board game.
Yeah, called Ouija boards. Yeah, because Ouija boards aren't special.
Or
in any way.
Mousetrap. That's the most satanic game ever made. Mousetrap is the most satanic game ever made.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Because you
'Cause
don't
it never
actually...
fucking works and it just pisses you off. You spend the mechanism and then it doesn't work.
Yeah, you don't play the
That's
game.
it.
You don't play the game. You just spend your entire time trying to build the Rube Goldberg mechanism that never works.
Yep.
That's it. You spend the entire... That's the whole fun of playing
All
Mousetrap
right.
is actually building the mechanism. That's it. You don't actually play it. I have never met
And
anyone
setting it
who has
off.
played it. I have never met anyone who has ever actually played Mousetrap. What? Not the way you're
No one
supposed to.
can actually tell you what the gameplay of Mousetrap is like because no one's ever played it. They just
Yeah.
set it up and tried to trip the mechanism and they got mad that it didn't work. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, let's get back to this.
Star is the company that puts out all Dungeons and Dragons material.
Yeah.
So let's look at Magic the Gathering, because this is the same company that puts out Pokémon. So let's see where they're coming from. Now, from seeing the symbols, your actual discernment should now begin to be sharpened. How many see a circle?
No, that's
How
an
many see a
oval.
pentagram?
That's an oval, for one. That's not a pentagram, that's just a 5-point star, which is not necessarily a pentagram. Because pentagrams is a reverse star, actually, so that's a pentacle. There's a difference between a pentacle, which is an upright star, and a pentagram, which is an upside down star, an inverted star. So no, that's not even a pentagram. How can someone get everything so wrong? That it's just
Because he's just trying to build a narrative.
true.
That is true. I'm looking here. I'm trying to find what all games Wizards of the Coast makes.
Oh, they make a lot.
And Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, Spell Slingers, and yeah, that's about it. They just make different sets for Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering.
And Pokemon.
At least that's what their website shows. It doesn't even show Pokemon on the website. I don't know if they don't make Pokemon cards anymore or what, but
Do they still make Pokemon cards? I thought they did.
according to their website, they don't.
Pokemon Company. Okay, the Pokemon Company now make Pokemon cards. Wizards of the Coast no longer makes them.
Yeah.
But the original.
So I was hoping to find like a list. Yeah, I was hoping to find a list of all the games that Wizards of the Coast makes, because I'm sure there are, a lot that even this guy would, but yeah, according to their website, all they make is Magic the Gathering and Dungeons and Dragons.
Here are Wizards of the Coast games: Dungeons and Dragons, Vampire: The Eternal Struggle, Netrunner, The Primal Order, Alternity, Dreamblade, NBA Showdown, Challenge Showdown trading card games, Legend of the Five Rings, Harry Potter trading card game, Duel Masters trading card game, Ravenloft, Gamble World, the Pokemon trading card game, Ars Magica, Magic the Gathering, D20 system, which is anything dealing with D&D or any other subsidiary system that deals with a...
Are you about to list like 200 100 different games
No, I'm about to finish up.
because we don't really need to do that.
Robo Rally, Everway, Star
Okay.
Wars, Dragonlance, Neopets, D20 Modern, and Everon. And that's it. That's all the games. There are about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 24, 25.
Oh, Neopet. Now, there's a satanic game.
I can't. I understand what you said, but
Manufactures
but-
games.
but you
What
are
has
roboting.
this world come to?
You are roboting really bad. Like terrible. But yeah, let's get on with this, and hopefully Quidditch can fix the
Nothing
problem.
they can do about it.
Yeah, unfortunately. Internet sucks.
Yeah. If you look, there it is. See that? Magic the Gathering. This is a role-playing game.
Yes.
Now,
you play a
parents,
Planewalker.
in case you don't know what that is, that means that your child actually becomes a character in the game, actually becomes a part of the game. And that's what makes it exciting, is there's not many games out there that they can actually become a part of.
Oh, that's bullshit. That's complete and total horseshit. Pretty much any game you play, you take on the role of whatever character you're playing as. I mean, that's the whole point of video games, is you're playing a role. You're playing that character in the game. So if you're playing Grand Theft Auto, you're playing that role of the dude who's, running around and shooting people and robbing stores and whatever else you're doing. And Quiddy's quit. I'm guessing he restarted his system. And Psychopop is muted. Yeah, well, I guess I'll continue the stream unabated then.
They can play it, but they don't actually become a part of it. In this particular game, they actually do become a character in the game. And remember, it said that
Yes, you become a planeswalker who is the master of the things that you summon, the spells that's cast. You are the planeswalker, and you are the wizard or the magician or whatever you want to call it that's actually casting the magic that's, fighting the opponent with.
it's an occult game. One of the dangers of this thing is, being a role-playing game, is that it's played with the mind. How many know that the mind is a very fragile thing?
So he thinks that anything dealing with the mind is dangerous. Yeah, that kind of tracks with Christians. They do kind of tend towards ignorance being a blessing, and that actual using your mind is a bad thing.
And what happens is, in these role-playing games, I'm going to use the example of Dungeons & Dragons because TSR is the one that puts out all their material.
Yeah, Real Cygnus, he claims to be an ex-Satanist, but I kind of doubt it. With the way he talked about it, I don't think it's in this video, but he's talked about how he used to cast curses on people and shit, and I honestly don't think he's actually an ex-Satanist. I think that's kind of bullshit that he made up to kind of bolster his ranks with the Christians, to make himself seem better. But
Okay, let's try this. Am I roboting still?
you sound much better. You sound much
Okay.
better.
Yeah, I ran speed test and my internet was fine. So I don't know what's going on.
Maybe it's your
It's
computer
probably
itself.
No, it's probably just random lulls in the bandwidth.
I don't know.
But it like it was really slow, and then speed test finally loaded and ran it, and my internet, I mean, it's not fast, but it's fine to stream. So we'll see.
I'm gonna check my speed test real quick, just to see. Yeah, my speed test is already 230 megabits per second download, 240 megabits per second download, and around 10 megabits per second upload.
So yeah, mine, because WinStream fucking sucks, my speed test was 7.92 megabits download and 0.71 megabits upload.
Ow!
Which,
Damn.
like I said, it's fine for streaming, but that's about it.
No, that's not even good for streaming, sweetie. That's terrible.
No, as long as, well, a call like this, like not streaming video or anything, but a call like this, as long as you have at least 0.5 megabits upload, it'll work fine.
Anyway, let's get back to this. I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah, anything dealing with the mind that makes you think, Christians are against. Because they really don't like higher learning, for one. They don't like learning at all. They don't like people learning stuff.
The danger of Dungeons and Dragons, or any kind of role-playing game like this, is that it's played with the mind, and when played with the mind begins to lose that fine line with what's real and what's fantasy.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
No, it really doesn't.
It really doesn't. I've never met anyone playing Magic the Gathering that really believes that they're casting magic.
I mean, even LARPers know that they're not really killing each other when they hit each other with styrofoam swords.
Even LARPers know that they're not really casting magic spells at each other when they're throwing bags of sand at them.
Yeah. Like, this is the 90s mindset, though. This is the Marilyn Manson made my kid kill someone else. It wasn't my shitty parenting. And video games caused my kid to do bad things.
Yeah.
It wasn't my shitty parenting that did it.
Yep, that's the 90s mindset. That's the Christian 90s satanic panic mindset.
I mean, not to go off on too much of a tangent here, but I distinctly remember, because when the massacre at Columbine happened, those kids were my age. I was a junior in high school when it happened. And so I remember it vividly. And I remember weeks of talk of it's Marilyn Manson's fault.
Oh, Marilyn Manson.
This happened.
I always heard it was video games that was the fault. I always heard them complaining about video games.
I mean, those too, but a lot of it was they listened to Marilyn Manson, therefore it's Marilyn Manson's fault.
Yeah, they were Christians, for one. The kids were Christians. Yet, a lot of people claimed they were atheists, but yet the kids claimed themselves, yeah, we're Christian. We believe in God, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, maybe you should believe the people who were actually, saying that, instead of making up that they were atheists.
Nope.
Because...
No, got to do that 90s scapegoating.
Yeah.
It's totally not the parents' fault. It's totally not the people that picked on them at school. It's not their fault. It's not anyone's fault except for some guy that makes music that they liked.
Or games, or anything else, or movies,
Yeah.
or that pesky radio program. It's always been no. Even back before we had like TV, it was always new advances in technology that was the cause of every problem. Back when we had radios, it was the radio's problem. Back before radios, whenever we had newspapers, it was the newspapers' problems that was everybody's problems in society.
Yeah, and I think that's so hilarious how like there are these articles in newspaper talking about how the radio is the work of the devil and that it's ruining today's children and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Like nothing has fucking changed
No,
ever.
no, nothing ever changes. Every single time we have had a tiny leap in technology from, say, like I said, from newspapers to radios. Whenever we got radios for the first time in people's homes, they started complaining, oh, the radio's causing these kids to be more evil, causing the murder spree,
And it's breaking up families
breaking up
and
families,
you know,
yeah.
because families aren't sitting quietly in a room together reading the newspaper anymore. It's breaking up families.
And then we had TVs, which started breaking up families again and
Yeah.
causing all the world's problems. And then we had video games. Now, video games are causing all the world's problems.
And the internet.
And rock music, causing everyone's problems.
Oh, don't get me started on rock music. Who knows how many people committed massacres because they saw Elvis shaking them hips?
Yeah. But anyway, it's always been an advance in technology.
Millions of people died because Elvis shook his hips.
And the more you get into the fantasy world, the more it seems real, and all of a sudden now you don't know what's real and what's not. In Dungeons
yeah,
and
you do.
Dragons,
Yeah,
this
you
is a
do.
game played by 3 or 4 people.
Because reality doesn't
And
have
what you
playing
do is
cards.
you have one particular person that's the dungeon master, and he sets all the rules up for this thing. And then in your mind, you actually fight battles. You go through mazes, you go through dungeons, and you actually fight wars with evil wizards, dragons, demons, powerful satanic beings.
Okay, so what was the last Dungeons and Dragons session you've ever played that
Wait,
actually
wait.
had a dragon and a dungeon?
Hang on, I'll answer that, but I do want to point this out that he said that you're fighting demons.
Yeah.
You're trying to kill demons,
Yeah.
but somehow this is satanic.
Yeah, exactly. You're being a good guy, but being the good guy, you're being satanic. Like,
You can only fight demons if you're a priest.
yeah, you can only fight demons if you're a priest, because priests are the only ones that hold that power.
Bring your own altar boy party.
It's all in the mind. And I mean, if you've got a vivid imagination, you can have one heck of a game.
Yeah.
And what happens is that
It's
you can
fun.
play this game for 10 to 12 years. Because the object is, as long as your character is alive, you're in the game.
There are sessions that have gone on that long. I had
Yeah.
a session that went about 6 years at one point.
I have friends that started sessions like groups in high school, and once a year they'll get together for a weekend. Now as adults with kids, they'll go to the beach together or go to the mountains together or something. They'll get together as families, and the guys will sit down and play a session of Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, it's
The
fun.
wives go shopping, the kids go play on the beach or whatever, and they sit down and do it. And they've been doing this since 1995 or whatever.
Yeah, because it's fun. Dungeons and Dragons is fucking fun.
But it hasn't fucking ruined their lives.
Yeah.
They know the difference between the game and reality.
Yeah, I play it.
They have families with kids. Some of them go to church every Sunday, except when they're on vacation, of course.
And I play D&D every Sunday and Monday. On Sunday, I play on George's campaign or Timo's campaign in Draconic Dread in the Discord. I'll go ahead and grab that.
Oh yeah,
Discord
don't forget
link.
comics too.
I'll grab that Discord link real quick. This is This is George's Discord, which is a D&D Discord. If y'all want to join, y'all are free to join. And I also play on Mondays on the World of Akala, which right now we're doing a Power Rangers session, which is, well, Rangers of Power, because Power Rangers is kind of a copyrighted thing. But this is the link to that Discord, the World of Akala. And you can find that on YouTube, which we broadcast every Monday at around, I think it's 6 o'clock now, because our previous session has already been done. The one with sorrow and everything. That my character. My
And
good
yes,
character.
Facty, Grand
Best
Theft
character.
Auto is real life. I'm not going to talk about my kill count, how many prostitutes I've beaten to death with double-ended dildos, but let's say the number is not 0.
But yeah, if you want to join the Draconic Dread Discord or World of Akala Discord, there's the links right there in the chat. And if you want to find us on YouTube, just search World of Akala and spell ACALA, World of Akala. And
Oh, and I'm back.
yeah,
Oh,
we'll be
sorry.
playing some D&D Monday. I think we're playing the Rangers of Power session next
So, there's so many huge leaps of logic here. Like,
Yeah.
if you play a game, then you won't know what's the game and what's not the game,
Yeah.
which is not how any of this works.
Because remember,
This isn't how the human mind works unless you have some very messed up mental issues.
Yeah.
And if you do, then, this is something that would happen even if you weren't playing the game.
Hey guys, can I point one thing out? Aren't clerics a class?
Yes. Yes. So are paladins, which are kind of like clerics, in a way.
Yeah, in their whole thing, they pray to God, and God hurts the monsters for them.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah.
Somebody needs to tell this guy.
And paladins are pretty much the same way. They get their powers from their god, whichever god they decide to worship.
So here's something that I think might be going on with this, is that most of the people that play games like this, this is something that they do to stimulate their minds. They have fun doing it, and if they're doing that, they're not on their knees sucking the Jesus dick, and they're learning things that may teach them that the Jesus dick is not actually a real dick.
Yeah.
And we can't have that, because then this guy won't make money.
Yep. You've got it completely correct.
and then he can't pay his barber to maintain his bitchin' mullet.
Always goes back to the mullet, doesn't it?
Yeah. So really, the root of the problem here is the dude needs money to pay his barber to maintain his mullet.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So let's keep going.
Once your character dies or gets killed in that particular game, you're out.
No.
So you can imagine.
No.
You can be revived.
Yeah,
you
if you have a
start a new character. You can
roll up a new character. That's all you need to do is roll up a new fucking character. Or you can be revived. You can be revived with a diamond. Simple. Just go to a cleric with a diamond. They can revive your character.
It's not like he's actually going to learn how the game is played, though. So I'm not going to fault him for not knowing.
I'm just going to say, isn't respawning a whole Jesus thing?
This is literally something that characters can do, and it's a very useful thing for them to do.
Yeah.
Imagine that if a person loses touch with reality and now they've actually become that character,
like
guess what? Anything that happens to that character now happens to them.
No.
No, because I'm pretty sure I would know the difference between getting attacked by a worm demon in a game, and if I'm walking down the street, I'm not going to think a worm demon is attacking me.
Yeah.
No. I know where he's coming from. He means like when he's in the revival tent and the little old ladies start talking in tongues because they're way too into it. He thinks it's just another religion.
Yeah,
God,
he's looking at
God.
this through the lens of Christianity and trying to impose things he uh, has seen in Christianity into these games.
It's only been we are only in 8 minutes in.
I know, I keep trying to get you to play it more, and we keep going off on tangents.
I'm shutting up. I'm shutting up.
And there's overwhelming evidence, psychiatrists and psychologists both tell us, there's overwhelming evidence showing that a lot of teenage suicides that are caused by Dungeons and Dragons are caused because the player has finally lost touch with reality.
Okay, I know I just said that about the 8 minutes thing, but no, fuck no.
Yeah, I'm going to press X to doubt here.
I have pressed X to doubt so much the X button has worn out, and I now have a bloody thumb.
This is all Tom Hanks.
God, no. People are not committing suicide because their character in D&D fucking died, you fucking simpleton. I was about to say simp. But no, you fucking simpleton. People have not committed suicide because of D&D. That's not a thing that's happened.
That's not a thing that exists.
No, it's not. It doesn't happen. Okay, if it has happened, give us proof.
Yeah.
Let's see if he has.
I mean,
any
he
proof
said
right enough.
there's overwhelming evidence, so
Yeah,
you know,
give us.
show us some of the evidence.
Yeah, but
If it's so overwhelming, you should be able to get it quickly. You probably should have it in your little shitty presentation here.
I'm gonna make a prediction here. He's not gonna show us any evidence of that. He's just
No, he's not going to show us evidence of anything.
He's just gonna gloss over it like he never said it. Well, or rather, yeah,
Well,
like he never said it.
He'd produce the evidence, but those colonoscopy scopes hurt.
Yeah.
No,
you're
he
right.
probably enjoys them.
You're exactly right. He pulled it straight from his from Uranus. Well, from his anus. More like it.
And what's happened to them now, they actually feel a psychic bond with that character. And so the character gets killed off and no longer in the game. You have no purpose because all your purpose was for the last 10 to 12 years was playing Dungeons and Dragons.
I'll say this much: I have had one character died that I felt a strong attraction to.
Psychic bond with that character.
Feedback.
Yeah.
Sorry, I accidentally hit the mute on the
But yeah.
wrong thing.
But yeah, I have had one character die, and it hasn't affected me in the slightest. I love the character. I love the character and all, but it's not to the point where it's affected me in any way.
People don't play these games 24 hours a day. That's not a thing that they do. So
Yeah.
he thinks he's literally saying that it's their whole life playing this game, but no,
It's not.
you play once a week or a couple of hours every few days or whatever.
Yeah.
And the rest of the time you do people things.
It's like
Like
3
eat,
hours every
sleep,
second Tuesday.
take a poop.
Yeah. It's not something
Go to school if you're a student, or go to work if you're an adult, or whatever.
But yeah,
Well, it's because this brand of Christian does not understand the concept of a personal life.
yeah, he thinks
'Cause,
that, he thinks that's anything you should be doing for the glory of God and blah 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 blah.
It's like, so I love Assassin's Creed, and every once in a while when I'm syncing a viewpoint or something, I won't point in the perfect direction and I'll miss the haystack and just jump to my death. But I don't put a gun in my mouth and blow my brains out because I did that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna speed him up to 1.5 because it's
So your character gets knocked off, guess what? So do you. So let's go back to Magic the Gathering. Here's one of the cards. Yeah,
I thought this was about Pokemon.
This is Cabal Ghoul.
It was.
Now,
originally.
you notice that there's counters up here. In other words, this stands for 2 points. And it says Cabal Ghoul. Now, in case you don't know what a ghoul is, it's a dead, rotting, decaying thing that's been in the ground and magically summoned back to life. So you have a walking dead thing, and that's what a ghoul is.
Yeah.
And
you
in this
have to
particular
kill
thing,
it
it says, at the end of each
again.
turn, put a 1+1 counter on Cabal Ghoul for each other creature that died during the turn and was not regenerated. In other words, you have cards that'll actually keep your character alive for a certain amount of time. Here's another interesting card.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean,
Because it's called the All Hallows Eve card.
Yeah, that's not how ghouls work. It's not keeping them alive. It makes them more powerful. That's all it does. +1/+1 just gives it 1 attack and 1 defense extra.
Yeah, and again, he doesn't actually know how the game is played.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Emphasis on the word game, by the way.
Yeah, it's a game.
Again, this is all in Magic. Magic the Gathering. By the way, there was a news clip that I read about 2 weeks ago that spoke of a
Sure
young
you
boy in
did.
Maine. I don't remember what the town was, but it was in Maine. And he came home one day and asked his mother about Magic the Gathering and said that the teacher had decided to use Magic the Gathering, this card game, as a new and exciting way to teach mathematics.
I highly, highly, highly doubt it. I'm pressing X to doubt on this.
Yeah, that's not
Yeah.
really how you teach math.
Yeah, it's not.
School.
Like, John has 17 hit points, but if I play the ghoul card, John will have +1 hit point. What does that give John? Like that's
Well-
not how a teacher is going to do things.
Oh, the teacher's trying to be the cool teacher. He might like use magic for like an example once during class, but yeah, it's not the hot new thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they even
It's
formed
not
what's called
like
a
I
Magic-
have 5 Backstreet Boys, but then Justin goes solo. How many Backstreet Boys do I have now?
I'm going to say this is one of those examples where there's the kernel of truth that he then dipped into his asshole for 2 weeks and then took it out.
Just let it,
Yeah,
you let it marinate.
could
You let it
be.
marinate. You just let it marinate there for a little bit.
club, and that all the kids were part of this magic club. Well, the mother said, well, you're not going to become a part of that. You're not going to be in that. But one of the kids had given him one of the cards, and that card he showed to his mother, and that card was called Necromancer. And on that card, it showed spiritual beings actually being risen up out of the ground, out of their grave. And then he asked his mother, what does summon mean? And she said, why do you ask that? And she said, he told her, he said, because all the kids on recess go outside on the school grounds, pick up huge sticks, wave them in the air, and say, spirits, enter me. True.
Press exit out. I am pressing exit out.
Sure, that's a thing that happened.
I am pressing
That
exit
that's
out.
100% believable and not at all bullshit.
Yeah, I am definitely pressing exit out on that.
This is All Hallows Eve.
I mean,
2 points symbolized by 2 skulls.
That is how I used to get my ex-wife to have sex with me. I would just walk around waving a stick in the air and say, enter me. But, you know, we had a very interesting sex life.
I bet that's how Kat Kerr has sex. Honestly, she waves her stick in the air and says, "Enter me, enter me, enter me."
Here's your demonic black cat. I guess it's a black cat. I've never seen anything look like that. There's your demon in the middle. Jack-o'-lantern, full moon,
like a
and it
wolf.
says this card is called
Cat.
sorcery.
Yeah,
Sorcery comes from the Greek word pharmakeia. It's where we get the word pharmaceutical. In occultism, it's witchcraft through drugs. Sorcery. And it says put 2 counters on this card, remove a counter during your upkeep, and when you remove the last counter from All Hallows Eve, all players take all creatures from their graveyards and put them directly into play. Treat these creatures as though they were just summoned. You choose what order they come into play. Remember that again, this is a role-playing game.
And remember
This is called
again
the Magician. I wonder
that
why.
just like your religion,
Here you see the man
this
kneeling
is
and
what
look,
we
he's
call
forming with his hands the triangle.
make-believe.
Yeah.
Right there. He's kneeling in front of a flame. There are the
I
crescent
don't think
moons
that
behind
card
him.
is even turned
Over here
legal.
can only be demons. Hellfire
It's not-
all
it's
around
not
here.
permanently
It's called the
legal.
Magician. And these are collectible cards. And these are cards that one day your child may come home with. Or may know of a student that has given him some of these cards. Now you will know what they are. So let's go back
Yeah,
to
they're
Pokemon.
playing cards.
Because now we've already established that the same company that puts out that game and puts out Dungeons and Dragons puts out cute little Pokemon. Isn't that interesting? Now, before we go any further, I want to see that if we as a group can agree on something. So I need
Oh
little
my
audience
god,
participation here to say yes or no.
the company
Okay?
that made
We argue that?
Battleship also makes Scrabble. Whatever will we do? I guess we'll have to invent Scrabble ship.
What battle? Battle.
No, that's a
Okay.
Simpsons reference.
Listen to me carefully.
Okay.
If we examine the characters of this particular program, and they are the kind of role models that we want our kids to be watching. In other words, if this whole game, the characters of this game, the monsters, this whole premise of this thing actually goes to establish the kind of values, the kind of standards, and the kind of morals that we want our kids to have when they reach adulthood, that it's okay. In other words, if they actually help to establish the kind of morals, values, and standards that we want our children or our grandchildren to have when they get to be an adult, that it must be all right. Can we agree on that? Yes. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to examine and see what kind of role models we have in this game. Now, what we need to do then, everybody go, oh, again. Oh, I know, he's cute, isn't he? Little satanic tail. Up here is the Pokemon ball, okay? That's this thing here. Okay? And
How is his
inside of that,
tail
you catch-
satanic?
Also, no.
I don't understand.
Also, no.
He just proclaimed it is.
Also, no, you uncultured swine. It's not a Pokemon ball. It is a Pokeball. You uncultured swine.
I don't care. I'm now just playing Doom in the background here to spite this guy.
I mean,
Pokemon.
I thought Pokemon was about STDs, to be honest.
Look,
You gotta catch 'em all. I mean, I was a big brother
That's
for
a
a
Pokemon ball,
sorority
and you
when I
actually
was in
catch the monster
college.
inside of that
so-
thing and harness the power in there. And then you can call
I
on that
played
power to
Pokemon.
regenerate itself outside of that ball. And praise God, it turns into a bigger and better monster. Now, we're told that there are 150 species of these particular creatures on the face of the earth. And we're also told in the material that these pocket monsters are creatures that inhabit the world with humans. And that they can evolve and grow in bigger and better creatures. Now, the object of this game is gotta catch them all. And they
Oh,
tell you
no,
that
they're
if you
going to
catch 'em all,
teach the kids
you become a
evolution.
Pokemon master.
Yeah, that's.
Listen,
yeah,
parents,
the big
that
E
word master will appeal to any child because they can become a somebody. They can become a master. And you know what? If you're the master
Only
of
if it's
something,
master of
you don't need
Yeah.
Dun,
This guy
dun,
could
dun,
make a really good
dun.
point by, just screaming Mighty Morphin Michael Vick at Ash Ketchum, but he doesn't have a problem with that stuff.
I mean, if you scream that, don't you have to like kill a bunch of dogs?
Only if you are the Mighty Morphin Michael Vick.
Oh yeah, okay.
mom. You don't need dad. You don't need grandparents. You don't need aunts and uncles. You don't need school. And you probably don't even need a church.
Yeah, you kind of still need.
No,
those
you
things.
don't need a church.
Well, besides the church, you still need all those other things: your mom, your dad, aunt, uncle, school. Yeah.
I
those
mean, you
gotta take
can
that.
survive without those things, but it's nice to have them.
Yeah, but you're not going to give those up for a game.
I don't know. It could be a pretty good game.
Because of a game.
I would totally trade my sister for electronic Monopoly.
Because you're a master. You can become a god.
No.
That's the premise of what this has been teaching. You
No, it's
become the
not.
Pokemon master.
No, it's not.
That's the whole premise and the whole goal of this game. Now,
No, the whole premise of the game is just to be the best. That's it.
And
I
I mean, that is the
animal
theme
fighting.
song.
Yeah, that's it. Just to be the very best. Like no one ever was. To catch them is my real test. To train them is my cause. I will travel across the land, searching far and
You
wide.
got to catch them all with your balls.
now,
Use
I'll
Pokemon
tell you-
to understand the power that's inside. Pokemon.
copyright strike. Okay. Now I'll tell you what game I would trade my soul for. Fireball Island. That game was some fun.
No. I trade my soul for that one Xbox game that came with the $3,000 controller. That was fun.
Steel Battalion.
I mean, I'd sell my soul for an Xbox, whatever the newest one is.
No,
but
Steel Battalion.
I sold my soul for a 6-inch Subway sandwich in high school, so I can't really do that now.
Steel Battalion. It has a $3,000 controller. This thing is basically you pilot a mech, and it's a very realistic game. Like hyper realistic, as in every single button on this controller is a button in the actual cockpit in the mecha that you're piloting on the screen. And if you die, it deletes your save file. And you have to start over because
See, that's just not realistic, though. If you die, the controller should shoot you in the head. That's the only way it would be realistic.
Quitties, don't be ridiculous. It's a mecha game. If you
Yeah.
die, it should go thermonuclear and take out most of the
Oh,
neighborhood.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, it just
yeah.
goes thermonuclear and takes out the entire neighborhood.
Takes out the entire East Coast.
That's what I call immersion.
But no, it does have a eject button. If you are close to death, you can always eject and get a new mecha, basically. But
if it doesn't fire you through the roof of your house, what fucking good is it?
But yeah, it's a fun game. But they've tried to emulate it, but nobody can emulate it because you need the controller, and that controller has like 40 fucking buttons on it.
It's like, okay, so there's a YouTube channel called The Warthog Project. I highly recommend you guys go check this out because it's this guy in Australia that just took the extra room in his house and built a cockpit for an A-10 Warthog in this room.
Damn.
Like he 3D printed stuff. He did all the wiring and manufacturing and built everything. And he even built, like, whenever the gun fires, he's got these little rattle things that go under gaming chairs called ass kickers, I think is what they're called.
Oh,
that
we're talking about the jet fighter. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
They make the seat shape just like a real A10 would. And he built this wraparound screen that gives him like 270 degrees
Damn.
of vision. And sorry, someone just pulled in my driveway and distracted me. Anyway, and he has like 3 different projectors shining down on the screen. Like, it's so cool. He spent, hundreds and hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars on this, even just making it himself and buying like used stuff on Facebook Marketplace. But it kind of sucks because if he pulls the ejection handle, it's not going to fire him through the roof of his house.
Yeah.
But the entire channel is just like videos of him building it, which is really cool to see.
We might have to come back to this video another time because we've only done half of it, and it's been an hour and a half. God damn.
Yeah, let's try not to get off topic and get through a couple of minutes here.
Yeah.
This is the main character right here. He's called Ash Ketchum. Not Hal Ketchum, but Ash Ketchum. Okay? And again, it doesn't make any difference what I say, it's what their own material says. I'm going to tell you what they describe him as. Listen to this. An energetic and determined 10-year-old who's a little too competitive, and he's obsessed with catching all Pokemon and driven to become the world's foremost Pokemon master. And every time that your children watch this program, whether it's a video, whether it's a cartoon, whether it's a comic book, no matter what it is, they hear this mantra, this rap song that's played over again. And it says, I will travel across the land searching far and wide, each Pokemon to understand the power that's inside. And then it's enchanted to them. Gotta catch them all. Over and over and over and over again. You know what it does? It fuels your child's craving for more cards, more books, more videos, more movies. It's designed to do that.
Also, the thing about the power that's inside, they're talking about the power that's inside your own heart to love.
And that's not a spoken word. That's not a rap song.
No, it's not. It's a song. It's an actual song, not spoken word. And it doesn't repeat gotta catch 'em all the time. I mean, the rap one does. The rap version does say gotta catch 'em all a lot, but
speaking of rap,
song,
I guess everyone heard that Coolio died.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Which, ruined my 1995.
Yeah. But anyway, off topic, let's get back.
That's what we call enchanting. Here's the next character. This is Misty. Look at this. Now, this is off of a comic book. This is actually a page of a comic book. But if this was actually clear, you'd see that that's a halter top. It stops right there.
No, it's a halter top. So what? So
I mean, people wear clothes. Does he not know this?
People wear fucking clothes.
And she's got short shorts on. And she's got to be about the same age as what Ash is. Okay? And she's described as Ash's companion. And listen to what it says about her. She's headstrong and stubborn, constantly arguing with Ash. Typical woman. No, just Just kidding.
Oh, God.
God forgive me. All right.
On top of everything.
Frivolous spirit, that's what it was. And here's Brock over here in the corner.
Imagine
and Brock is by
that.
far the
Woman
most
wears
hormonal,
the clothes she
because his
wants
fascination
to.
with the opposite sex many times gets him or the group in trouble. Well, then there's Pokemon trainer Gary. And Gary's not pictured in here, but Gary is a real self-centered jerk. He's vindictive and he's obnoxious. And then there are two characters, and one's called Jesse, and the other one's called James. And listen to what it says about them. It says, prepare for trouble, make it double. Jesse and James are an evil gang looking to steal rare Pokemon. Jesse and James are stuck up, fashion conscious, and you know what? In the program, they're also prone to cross-dressing.
One episode.
Now, if you don't know what that means, that means that if you feel like you're a woman in a man's body, you wear women's clothing. You dress like one. If you're a woman who feels manly, you wear men's underclothing and dress like one. Cross-dressing. Oh, what kind of role model would that be?
And
Okay,
is there a problem with wearing the clothes you want to wear?
Apparently with him there is. Apparently with him
I
there is.
don't see what he's getting at here.
Also,
He's
that's
getting at his transphobia.
yeah, that's not
Yeah, I
cross-dressing.
know.
That's trans. No, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
Why do I?
Cross-dressing isn't transsexual. Cross-dressing is cross-dressing.
Cross-dressing, yeah. James cross-dressed. James usually cross-dressed in order to try to get Ash's Pikachu. That's it.
And yeah, I love
That's it.
just the casual misogyny, but then he makes a joke that's even more misogynistic and kind of half-ass apologizes for it, but doesn't apologize for the fact that he's like, a woman shouldn't dress like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
A woman should dress however the fuck that woman wants to dress.
Yeah.
It's none of your goddamn business how she dresses.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, remember at the first, I think that's enough right here, because I think we've got a pretty well good establishment on this
Also,
thing.
Jesse and James
Remember that I
are role
said
models.
that if the characters were the kind
the
of role
bad
models
guys.
that established the kind of values, standards, and morals that we wanted our kids to have when they got to be an adult, that this game or this particular thing is okay. Remember we said that? Okay, so let's examine what we got. Let's see. Headstrong, stubborn, quibbling, self-centered, vindictive, obnoxious, hormonal, sexually preoccupied, evil.
Also, Gary isn't a role model either. He's kind of the bad guy. The only good guy there really is Ash, Misty, and Brock. But Brock's kind of a lecherous idiot.
Well, we are talking about a guy who, if you in an argument with him say, "Oh yeah, I'm a real pedophile," in that specific tone of voice, you'll find a clip of it on the internet with him going, "He admits it."
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thieving, cross-dressing jerks.
No.
I don't know about you, but I mean, even if I wasn't a Christian parent, I wouldn't want my kids to grow up with those kind of traits. Then we have to actually say that the characters of this game don't biblically stand up, do they?
An anime.
In other words, they don't represent the kind of values and standards we want our kids to have. And they're definitely not the role models we want our kids to be. But these are the characters that our children are identifying with day after day after day, playing this game, watching the cartoon, reading the books, looking at the videos. Now, we're also told that these actual beings have supernatural abilities. In other words, they can evolve and grow into bigger, better monsters.
I want to finish thoughts on what he was just talking about, since he's changing topics here. And, basically what he's trying to say is you have to control your children.
Yeah.
And not let them have any sort of outside influence and not do what they want. They have to do what you want. Yeah. Otherwise, they could maybe, not be a part of your little cult.
Yeah, your cult. Yeah, exactly.
And that's what it boils down to is, they're trying to control people to stay in their cult.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And that's it.
Yeah.
You can't wear the clothes that you want to wear. You can't, be a free thinker or whatever other traits he was talking about there. I'm not going to get into everything. But you can't do that because that won't be a good cult member.
Yep. You can't think for yourself. That's it. You can't think for yourself because if you start thinking for yourself, then you start to realize, oh, I'm in a fucking cult.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I've became not a Christian.
Yeah.
Was I sat there and I fucking thought about it.
Yeah. Same here.
And it didn't happen, you know, it wasn't a light switch or anything. It was like a couple of weeks of my life
Yeah.
where I would sit and think about things, and I eventually came to the realization that I didn't believe any of it.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first started having those thoughts, like I was even scared to think those thoughts.
Yeah.
But then, you know, being not a fucking moron, I was like, well, I'm going to explore what I believe in instead of just hiding from it like he wants you to do.
Yeah. But yeah, let's continue on with that.
Now, this is a scene. Actually, this is a poster from the movie. And look here. This is Mew. This is Mew over here. MEU. He's kind of cute. And this is Mew
MEW, but yeah.
2 over here, complete with his satanic salute. And if you notice that
Oh,
pose is
but
always
it's not
given
in
with
that
the left hand.
pose that he said
That's
it's always
significant.
in.
Remember the left-hand path?
Yeah.
And we're told that they get bigger and better. Of course, that's what we always want. Bigger and better monsters. That's what the world needs. And we're told that they get bigger and better through the use of
Goddamn
energy.
right.
Now, a funny thing happened. Well, actually, it wasn't funny, but an interesting thing happened when this movie, Pokemon, was actually first released in Japan. I want you to see it. This is from CNN. Look at this. Because this is very highly unusual. Japanese cartoon triggers seizures in hundreds of children. And look at this. This is Tokyo, December 17th, 1997. This is when the movie was first actually released over in Japan. The bright flashing lights of a popular TV cartoon became a serious matter Tuesday evening when they triggered seizures in hundreds of Japanese children.
That was the Porygon episode, which has been pretty much banned from all any type of broadcast. It's been banned from broadcast because of that, because it had a lot of flashing lights.
Yeah,
Also,
imagine
there's
that.
a lot of-
Epileptic trigger causes epileptic reaction. Oh my god.
They didn't know
Also-
that at the time. They didn't know it at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also there was a lot of doubt about the actual amount of damage through epileptic triggers that it actually did,
Yeah.
because a lot of the reports they got started coming in after the initial story ran.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Simpsons made fun of it when they went to Japan, and they were like, wait a second. They were watching the fighting robots or whatever. They were like, wait a second, isn't this the show that causes seizures in a bunch of people?
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And then
episode.
they all start having seizures on the floor, and Homer walks in, he's like, oh, what are you watching? And then he falls on the floor and has a seizure.
Yeah.
In a national survey, the Tokyo Fire Department found that at least 618 children had suffered convulsions, vomiting, irritated eyes, and other symptoms after watching Pokemon. Japanese television network NHK reported that 111 people were still hospitalized Wednesday morning. And now spokesman Hiroshi Uramoto said that a later broadcast of the show scheduled for 30 other stations nationwide had been canceled and that an investigation was well underway.
Yeah.
We are shocked to hear many children were taken to hospitals, Uramoto said. We will investigate thoroughly and consult with experts. And you know what they found? Not one of those children had a history of epilepsy. Now, you know,
Imagine that. They didn't have a trigger to set off their epilepsy until they had a trigger to set off their epilepsy. And then they found out they had epilepsy.
Yeah.
That's kind of how this thing works.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know you have a disease until the disease presents itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people with epilepsy go through life without realizing it until way later.
Yeah.
Yeah, until something actually triggers it.
Yep.
And, you know, from this, we got anything with a lot of flashing lights now has a disclaimer somewhere.
Yep.
Oh yeah, and plus a lot of the times when it gets triggered, it's not a grand mall where it has you rolling around on the floor. It can be a petite mall where you just freeze for a split second, and go, "Oh, that was weird."
Yeah. Yeah, you freeze, or, you know, you kind of get like that twitch.
Yeah.
Or you black out or whatever. It can be a bunch of different symptoms. And, you know, even if it's something really like you said, with where you just freeze for a moment while the flashing is going on, this is something that could go undiagnosed because it's not something that you really have a problem with, and you're not going to see a doctor because you froze when you saw a flashing light for 5 seconds and then went on about your business.
Yeah. Plus, like I said.
And yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
shit.
What
Sorry.
were you saying?
Like I said, that's why this episode that he's talking about was banned. Because they didn't know at the time that that caused epileptic seizures. They honestly didn't.
Yeah.
And when it happened, they were like, holy shit.
That's
When you get
exactly
to
what
this
I was going to
episode-
say, because I saw Microraptor say it in the chat, and I was like, yeah. And the result of this was it got banned.
Yeah.
And we put safeguards everywhere, not just in Japan where it happened,
Yeah.
but everywhere in the civilized world now has safeguards, disclaimers saying this has flashing
was-
lights. If you may be epileptic, don't watch.
It was never aired in the U.S. That episode it was also stricken from the it was banned from the actual VHS tapes that the original series was released on. They wouldn't even let you buy the episode on VHS. It wasn't until way the fuck later, whenever it's released on DVD, that they allowed you to actually have it. But it actually has that disclaimer for like a minute on the screen saying, if you suffer from epileptic seizures, please do not watch this.
They also re-edited the way the colors to make them much less reactive to epileptic.
Yeah, they did. They did edit the colors down as well.
I have the distinct feeling that this guy doesn't actually believe in epilepsy. He's going to say that it's Satan trying to get into your soul.
Yeah, probably.
Well, one final point, and then we'll play it again. But just what Microraptor said, he's missing this huge point where this one thing made the world safer by pointing out that it's a thing that happens.
Mm-hmm.
And he's just whiffing on all of that to suit his narrative that they're somehow making these people sick.
There's slightly less Pokemon to watch because of it. Yes, Microraptor.
Working in the mental health field for as long as I did, I can tell you that bright flashing lights will trigger off in occasion seizures and convulsions in kids or even adults that are prone to be epileptic.
We didn't know that at the time, though. It took that episode for us to know that.
Yeah, when I was a kid, one time I blacked out. When I was in Cub Scouts, I believe it was, we had some sort of gathering, and they had a strobe light, and I blacked out because they cut all the lights off and just had the strobe light on. And that's the only time it's ever happened to me. But after that happened, my mom took me to the doctor and ran tests to see if I was epileptic. And it turned out I wasn't. We don't know what caused it, but it was just this one weird time it happened.
So yeah, if it wasn't for that Pokemon episode, I mean, something else would have, eventually happened.
Yeah.
But
there would have been another super fighting battle robots or whatever episode like on The Simpsons.
Yeah,
to clarify, the medical world was aware of this. There was awareness. Before this episode came out, there were instruction booklets that had seizure warnings and stuff, but general public awareness of this wasn't that big. That's
what I meant. That's what I meant.
Yeah, it helped. It helped make it more public and helped, ensure safeguards so that if something could cause it, it had to be labeled.
Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing. It was because of that episode that we do have those labels on TV shows now, where it will have warning may cause epileptic seizures.
It's just like the woman that spilled coffee on her lap, and now every coffee cup everywhere you go says caution, contents may be hot.
To be fair, the cup that she had was super fucking hot.
Yeah, let's not get into all of that because there's a lot to unpack there. But just this one thing happened that caused a ripple effect where now everything that could cause that has a warning label on it.
Yeah.
It's one of those watershed moments.
Who have no seizure problem and no epileptic history. There's something unusual about that.
No,
and they went through, and it goes on further to say that they went through and even did CAT scans. And the whole premise was that at the end, they had to conclude that they don't know why it happened. Is that by coincidence?
No, they
Or did
do
something
know
happen
why it
that they can't
happened.
explain? Remember I said that they get their energy through energy balls. And here is a picture of cute little Pikachu, and he's being energized by an energy ball. And now you notice he's not quite so cute anymore, and his little satanic tail is really erect. And now, parents, if you're not up on Pokemon,
Wait,
you need to be.
pause. Microraptor gets her energy from energy balls too. She just calls them Swedish meatballs.
And no, Pokemon don't get their energy from energy balls or whatever the fuck he's talking about. They don't have quote unquote energy that they have. They're just animals. That's it. They're
Really?
just cute little animals.
I always called them amphetamines.
Yeah, yeah.
Hold on. Gotta
I
pop.
mean, there's a ton of jokes about energy balls that we could do,
Yeah.
but the first one that came to my head was just food. So I was like, oh, Swedish meatballs. Microraptor's Swedish.
And one of the things you can do is go out and buy the official Pokemon trading card game Player's Guide. And you can get this at any store that sells any of the Pokemon stuff. I mean, anything. You can get it like at Toys R Us or any of those places that sell any of the Pokemon. And it says on the back of this, catch them all, then build an unbeatable tournament deck. And one of the things you can do is look through here because it shows every Pokemon in existence, and it tells you what their powers are, and it tells you how they get weak, and it tells you how they energize and what you need to energize them. But something very unusual is also in this book, and that is that they actually show the energy balls that is used to make these monsters bigger and better. I want you to see them. I hope you can see them from where I am. I'm going to hold it out here so hopefully you can see it. Look at the yellow. What do you see?
I was really hoping
Lightning
it
bolt.
would actually be a picture
here.
of the
All-seeing
Pokeball.
eye.
Like he just misunderstood its purpose.
Well, okay, the card game they do use energy balls, but that's more of a necessity to be able to summon them. I mean, it's just a necessity. But yeah,
I mean, my balls summon things all the time too.
wow.
Aren't these
Normally
supposed to be more
itches.
like gemstones?
Yeah, they are.
Sorry, I'm getting caught up in the minutia. Don't just ignore me.
Yeah. Anyway,
See that? Up here is the clenched fist, symbol for rebellion, anarchy.
fighting. No, the clenched fist.
Right down here is a powerful witchcraft symbol where my finger is.
Fire.
Powerful witchcraft symbol, and it's a symbol for fire.
Yeah, it's fire. It's a fire type.
Down here is
fire
another
type.
powerful witchcraft symbol, actually a New Age symbol. They call a New Age symbol for earth,
Not for weak. No, it's not witchcraft. It's just a leaf.
okay, which is a green leaf. And down at the bottom here, this blue ball down in here
Grass type.
is the symbol for energy of water.
Yeah,
And water
I've
transforms
smoked a few
into
green
wind.
leaves in my
Earth,
day.
wind, and fire, the three basic elements of all witchcraft, parents. And I'm going to ask you, parents, grandparents,
Earth, wind, and
concerned
fire
uncles,
aren't
friends,
elements.
do you
by
think
the
they put
way.
that in there by coincidence?
Yeah, they are.
Do you think they just built this game, put these on there, and said, hey, let's just put those symbols on there. They look cool. Kids won't know what they are, but they'll like them because they look cool.
And when
Or did they put
people-
them on there because they know what the meaning of each one of those symbols is?
back
No,
when
they put them on it because that's the symbol for those things. You know, the symbol for fire is fire.
Yeah.
The symbol for tree
Yeah.
is a tree.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out, back when people believed in the alchemical idea of the elements of fire, wind, and water, didn't that shit come from medieval England and guys like you?
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. Which is for Jesus.
I'm getting a he who smelt it dealt it vibe right now.
Is. And they want to desensitize our children to seeing those symbols so much that when they see them in other things, hey, no big deal. There is a devised
Yeah,
plan
'cause it's no big
going
deal.
on for the battle of our children's minds.
Exactly.
There's a war going on right now for the children because Satan wants them really bad. Who better to serve the Antichrist than the youth? And the whole
Than
object is
me.
to catch them while they're young.
Hail Satan.
Remember the Pokemon motto? Gotta catch them all.
Hail Satan.
Who do you think feels that way?
Except
It's the
I
enemy.
don't serve the
Gotta catch
Antichrist.
them all.
The Antichrist
Gotta get them while they're
serves
young.
me.
Gotta induct satanic doctrine. Gotta put these symbols in their spirits. Gotta put these monsters in their heads. Gotta mess up their dreams. Gotta mess up their reality. Gotta break up the family. Have you ever tried to get talking to a child when he's into this game? It's impossible. They spend more time on this Pokemon. And you know what? It's amazing that your child can tell you every Pokemon in existence, even tell you where they get their power, what they do, and how they do it, but they can't tell you what you told them 5 minutes ago. They also can't tell you probably what they learned in school that day. And even worse than that, they can't quote you scripture. There's something wrong. And I'm talking to the men right now because, you know, man, we've been given an awesome task by God. We have nothing to say about it. You know why? God tells us
Wait,
that we're the priests of our homes.
pause. I'll quote some scripture right now about
Oh gosh.
how men shouldn't shave the hair on their temples, and he doesn't have sideburns, so he's going to hell.
Yeah. Yeah. He's probably
And there's
circumcised
also
too.
something about altering your hair, and I'm pretty sure those are frosted tips. I'm pretty sure he's actually frosted his his tips there.
There's also about marrying mixed fabrics, and I'm pretty sure that's not full wool coat he's wearing.
Yeah.
It's probably at least 10% rayon.
Probably.
We are the ones who say, we are going to follow God. I don't care what anyone else does, but as for me and my family, we are going to serve the Lord. We are the ones who are supposed to say, this stuff is going to be allowed, and this stuff
You
is out.
gotta get on your knees and start
ladies,
sucking
Women of God, you've got an awesome
Jesus.
task ahead too, because the Word of God says that you're to raise your children in the ways of the Lord. Not in the ways of these Pokemon, not in the ways of witchcraft or Satan worship, but in the ways of the Lord. Are we doing that? Or are we subtly giving in?
Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby.
This is a picture from
Don't
one
you
of the comic
put
books
that
that
evil
says,
on me, Ricky Bobby.
Pokemon,
Sweet baby Jesus.
psychic surprise.
Sweet,
Surprise,
sweet
all right.
baby Jesus.
Look at this. This creature right here is called Haunter. And I talked to 3 kids in 3 different cities who actually came up and told me that they were having bad dreams, and that creature was in their dreams. Called Haunter.
Yeah, it's
That makes
called
sense.
having
Haunt.
nightmares.
Right up here is a creature
Sure,
that's not
that's
quite
a
so
thing
cute
that
now. This
actually
over here is not
happened
quite
and
so
he
cute.
didn't just make
Little
up.
Pikachu down here, he's crying his eyes out. He's not cute, and even Ash doesn't look cute anymore. Psychic surprise. And you know, going back to those energy balls, I believe that those energy balls represent that the Pokemon get their power by supernatural occult ability. You saw the symbols.
Charlie
Remember, the material
Welch,
speak
not
for
just
itself.
tidy
They hid
whities,
themselves
but
away.
tidy whities
And
with
what
a
made that
skid
even
mark
more
in them.
evident was 2 cards. One was called Abra, and the other is called Kadabra. Abra Cadabra. And that's an actual phrase, it's an actual name. Listen to this. Webster's dictionary defines it as a word
He
supposed to have
seems
magic
like the
powers
kind of
and
guy
hence
that
used in
wipes
incantations
one
on amulets,
too
etc.
few
A magic spell or
times
formula.
every time.
And on the Abra card, it says, using its ability to read minds, it will identify impending danger and teleport the user to safety.
And
The
then there's
Kadabra character
Alakazam.
has a pentagram
I
on his
was going to
forehead,
say,
and he has SSS across his chest. And it is the satanic SSS. And in my particular sect of Satanism, we didn't have it, but I ran into
No, he doesn't. I can actually.
The satanic SSS.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a
No,
thing
it's
either.
just-
I think this. I really do think you were right. This guy is a fake ex-Satanist.
Yeah, he is. Because, for one,
Because, yeah, he's talking about all these letters that are apparently satanic, but
tell
they're
me.
not.
where is the S on his chest? Where? That's not even close to an S.
it's more of a really lazy Z? I don't know.
It's
Not
like a
even
really
that.
lazy lightning bolt.
Yeah, like a really lazy thing.
I mean, if I was him, I would talk about the mockery of the Trinity. That's the thing that the demon freaks love to talk about. Like, if you're possessed, then you'll get 3 scratches because that's the demon mocking the Holy Trinity.
Yeah.
I would have gone in that direction if I was him, but he's not even smart enough to do something like that. He's just got to be that satanic SSS.
Yeah. Anyway.
other groups that did. They had tattoos on the inside of their wrist, over their breasts, or on the inside of their thigh, and it was that same SSS. You know what it stands for? Satan's Solemn Servant. And also,
Sure
the
it
Kadabra
does.
character is always pictured on the card with his left hand giving the satanic salute. And again, I have to ask you, do you think that's on there by coincidence? Do you think they just made this game and said, hey, let's just throw that in there because it looks good?
Yes, because they're
Let's
in
just throw that in there
Japan.
because it makes it look a little more exciting. Or do they put that in there because they know exactly what it means and they want our children to get desensitized to it?
It's like
They want our-
Americans getting Japanese or Chinese characters tattooed on them.
Yeah.
Over there, they get Latin letters tattooed on them and have no idea what it means.
I'll tell you what I want to show this guy a picture of Mr. Satan and see what happens.
Okay, so this is the thing. The Japanese aren't known for their Christians, and they really most Japanese Christians don't even understand Christian symbology, much less his warped version of Christian symbology. His particular shit that he himself made up.
most Japanese aren't even Shintoists. They just, they just practice it because it's usually a fun group activity.
Yeah, they're not even Shintoists.
I mean,
cultural
so are
significance.
orgies.
They just do it out of tradition, mainly. Most Shintoists are Shintoists out of tradition. They never stop doing the Shinto things, and they're cultural Shintoists.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing with every culture. Like, I still celebrate Christmas even though I'm not a Christian because it's
Yeah.
a fun day to give presents to people and get shit faced with my family and
Or
watch
Easter.
National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Or Easter, same thing.
Well, I don't celebrate Easter.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, me either.
eh.
I'm not a fan of eggs.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of bunnies pooping eggs out in my yard.
Yeah, true. Good
Uh,
point. Yeah.
But, Christmas to me is just Santa Claus brings presents and, you give people presents and they give you presents and then we get shit faced on eggnog and watch National Lampoon.
Christmas is pagan anyway. There's nothing Christian.
Yeah.
There's nothing
well,
Christian
so
about
is,
Christmas.
So is Easter. Pretty much all the Christian holidays are
pagan.
just stolen from pagan holidays.
Hell, half the ones we like to celebrate were banned by the freaking Vatican at one point or another.
Yeah.
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 But see, that's something that the Romans really started was when they would conquer or
Absorb.
whatever you want to call it,
Absorb.
a different culture, they would incorporate that culture's beliefs into their belief structure and basically like add that culture's gods into their god, what's the word I'm looking for? Hierarchy or
Pantheon.
Pantheon. Yes, thank you. So you get these temples in like England or Germany or places like that were these pagan gods that have been Romanized, and that kind of continued after the fall of the Roman Empire. They just kind of turned local gods and local celebrations into Christian celebrations and Christian beliefs and things.
I was gonna say, a few Egyptian folk legends. You put it back to back with some of the stories about Jesus, you're gonna go, wait a minute.
Yeah, Mithra.
I mean, there's like 100 different born from a virgin thing stories and 100 different killed and resurrected stories from different religions and everything.
World floods.
Yeah,
There's hundreds of world flood.
It's plagiarized.
There's hundreds of world flood stories. It all started.
Yeah,
the whole world flood thing started with Gilgamesh. Which
yeah,
is
I mean, and the funny thing is, I love how the Christians love to say that because there are flood stories in the all over the world, that means that Noah's Ark happened. No, that means that other places had to deal with a lot of rain at once.
Yeah, a lot of places had floods. So floods happened. That's all it says.
I mean,
that's all it
the
says
entire Chinese empire was started by a flood.
Yeah. Anyway, let's finish this off.
Our children to be able to look at that and actually at one day now, while they're identifying with their favorite Pokemon, reach up and go, "Hail, Pokemon!"
And yes, Microraptor, it's also that.
What are they actually hailing? Satan. Listen, our kids are carrying around these cards like they're magic symbols, and they are taught to believe that they can call on the powers of these cards anytime they want to.
No, they don't.
And I ask you, do you believe that our kids believe they have
That's not
power?
how this works.
That's
Or
not
do you
how
think
any
that
of
they-
this
Not
It's
how
just
any
for
of
them to
this
talk.
works.
Because if they don't
Buddy,
believe that it has
this
power,
is not Yu-Gi-Oh!
why are we seeing time after time after time news clips
Yeah, you can
About
only
our
summon
kids
Yu-Gi-Oh all
beating
the
each
time.
other up on school grounds?
Not
Yeah.
even stabbing each other
Not
over Pokemon
Pokemon.
cards? Look at this. Quebec
Yeah,
teen stabbed at school.
Did he
Violent
literally
This was in
print
Montreal.
out a
And this was a
webpage?
12-year-old student that tried to help his
he
younger
did.
brother after his younger brother
Yes,
had his
he did.
Pokemon card deck stolen from
He
him.
printed
And he
out
went
a
over to these young
webpage.
men to get the cards back, and one of the boys pulled out a 4-inch knife and stabbed him.
He printed out a webpage.
I don't even give a shit what he's talking about on that webpage. Just the fact that not only did he print out a webpage, but then he printed it onto a transparency to use on an overhead projector.
I know at this time they had affordable projectors you could plug shit into. With
Yeah,
cables.
in the fucking early 90s when I was in middle school, we had computer class and they had a projector that hooked up to the teacher's computer so she could show us what she was doing on her computer.
I had
These are things that existed before this video was made.
in 1996. In '96, I had cords that could go from my computer to my TV.
Yeah.
And this was a CRTV. This was a CRTV.
I
Not-
know what's going
not
on.
flat
I know
screen.
what's going on here. It's the donation money has to go somewhere, and he's really got to maintain that mullet. They don't have the money for a high-end projector system.
They only have the money for printer ink and transparency plastic.
Slides. Transparency slides. That you print web pages on.
I'm sure that he actually went to his local library. He
Yeah.
doesn't even have a computer
Yeah.
with internet at his house. He went to his local library and found that web page and then printed it out on a transparency sheet to
Yeah.
show people.
No,
Yeah.
because the local library charges you. He went to one of his parishioners' houses and guilt-tripped them into
Yeah,
letting him
probably.
use their printer.
Probably.
Or he went to the library and told them that it was for Jesus, therefore he doesn't have to pay.
Yeah. He told the church, no. He didn't pay for it himself. He made his parishioners pay for it because he said the church is going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Dealing with it. Look at this.
And yes, what happened was someone got stabbed for a Pokemon card. Because that Pokemon card was probably worth some money. People get stabbed for money all the time, sweetie. It happens.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Winnipeg?
This happened in Canada.
People get stabbed in Winnipeg for a lot less than a Pokemon card.
This
Well, if
happened.
you got some nice Nikes on, you might get stabbed for that.
That was in Quebec. So yeah, Winnipeg. Basically, Quebec is basically Winnipeg. It's the same thing. Quebec's the same way.
Yeah, like Punchy tells me about it all the time because Winnipeg is the stabbing capital of Canada.
Oh God.
So yeah, people get stabbed there all the fucking time for no reason. You know, just like walking down the street, someone walks up, they don't like the way you look, you get stabbed.
No. You get stabbed this.
You didn't
another
even have a
Tuesday.
Pokemon card.
You just get stabbed and they say, "Oh, it's just Tuesday." That's why. That's why. It's
Yeah,
not
you get stabbed because it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
That's Winnipeg for you.
No reason. It's Tuesday. I had to stab you because
So
it's Tuesday.
these kids should be glad that at least there was a reason that they got stabbed.
And like I said, this happened in Quebec.
Well, it's not
It's
even
a
a crime. It's just how you greet each other there.
Yeah. It's like, hey.
Yes. Charlie at Starbucks is the same thing. If there's a long line, it's stabby time.
If you do it wrong, it's Canada. They'll politely hope you correct your form and how to aim for the non-vital areas.
Yep. Charlie, it's stabby time. If there's a long. No, it's not
Yeah.
at Starbucks. It's not at Starbucks. It's the Tim Hortons. Tim Hortons.
At
not
least in Canada, they always apologize for stabbing you afterwards.
Starbucks. Yeah. I mean,
Sorry boot that.
Boy attacks teacher over Pokemon. Here in Lakeland, Florida, there was a young boy who had a deck of Pokemon cards, and he was passing them around the class, and the woman teacher noticed that they were paying more attention to Pokemon than they were her. So she waited for the deck to get back to this young man, and then she walked over and grabbed that deck out of his hand. He got up and struck her dead in the face with his fists. And of course, he got called in on the principal's carpet.
So a kid.
I'm willing to bet there's more to that story, like she destroyed his expensive Poke card deck.
Or threw him in the trash or did something, yeah.
In the office,
Or
they
it was
called for
like
the parents.
the
The parents came to pick him
800th
up. You know what he
thing
told his
would win.
father? They were trying to steal my powers. Our kids are taught to believe that these things
Sure,
actually
that's the
have
thing
supernatural
that
ability.
he said.
And that they can call on them anytime they want to because their material states that. In this book, it tells your child, you have the power at your fingertips, so use it.
Sounds like that kid was autistic.
Could have been.
happens.
I
It
do
happens.
have a video. I've got to look it up, though, that will play here in a second.
Well, after this, we've already been going 2 hours. So after this is probably going to be it for tonight.
All right.
Okay. Pause and
And that's what they're doing.
copy.
This game is a war.
Wait,
designed to attack
stop playing
our
it. Stop
children's
playing
minds.
it. I got something for you to play here. It's a YouTube short. It won't take long.
Okay.
I just sent it to you,
All right.
but pretty sure this is that kid.
Don't fuck with me! I have the power of God and anime on my side! Wait,
Probably is that kid. It's probably that kid.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just what he's talking about there.
Yeah,
It is that kid. Of course, I'm sure this happened, 20 years after he was talking, but
This
Yeah.
is why if I ever have kids, I won't let them watch Neon Genesis Evangelion.
And yes, Microraptor, children get emotional about stupid shit all the time.
what? No, never.
Their very character. And if it gets into our homes, it will wreck family life in one way, shape, or form. This stuff is nothing more than unadulterated witchcraft, and it's put in a child's form, designed to attack the child and the parents and the entire family that this thing is associated with. That's exactly what it's designed to do, and that's what it does. Pokemon is a step to bigger and better things in the occult. And I have to wonder sometime when a grade school child is going to do what the Weeping Bell Razor Leaf Pokemon card says. It says this: it spits out poison powder to immobilize the enemy and then finishes the enemy with a spray of acid. And these cards cost anywhere from $7 to $9 per single pack. And there are report after report of children going into their parents' pocketbook and stealing money to go out and buy these cards.
Yeah. That's
What is
thing
the
that
purpose?
happens.
What is the
Well,
magic
if
that's
the
behind?
kids got a decent allowance, they wouldn't have to
This is
steal.
Yeah.
And it could have been that kid spent, several weeks of allowance on a Poke card deck, and the teacher took it away and ripped him up or something.
Yeah.
And that would piss me the fuck off too.
Yeah.
The whole
I had a
game of
teacher.
Pokemon.
I had a teacher take away my calculator watch when I was in 3rd grade, and I have never forgiven that bitch for that. That was in 1990.
I think by looking at it in that realm and looking at it the way that we've looked at it, I don't see it as being something that is beneficial to our children. I don't see it as being something that's going to help our family grow. And I sure don't see it as something that's going to help get the child established in the ways of the Lord. This is totally the opposite. Remember that the whole goal in all of these role-playing games, and especially in Pokemon, is to become the master.
Vader.
Become the best. Yeah, basically. So yeah, that was the Pokemon Pastor Stephen Dollins. He's special.
I mean, that was basically for me like listening to a Jeranism stream.
Yeah.
Like there was about as much evidence for what he was saying as there is in a Jeranism stream.
Yeah, pretty much.
It just reminded me of a much more formal version of Anime Exposed.
So, what did we learn tonight besides, everything's demonic?
I learned that John Goodman and Danny McBride had sex, and that's what came out.
I learned you don't fuck with someone who has both the powers of anime and God on their side.
No one ever fucked with that kid again.
Yeah, I learned what the inside of a blender looks like. Me.
Huzzah! Yeah,
And
so
that
next
so many circles
week,
don't work.
demons and shit.
Next week we're definitely gonna do demons and shit. 'Cause-
Or maybe ghosts and shit. Something with shit, though.
Hardcore.
It's going to be a scatological nightmare.
well, I mean, we've got demons on the set already, so I mean,
I mean, yeah, I am a demon.
so yeah.
I do enter into people's bodies that give me permission to enter them.
Don't fuck with Charlie Welch when he wants coffee. Yep. No. Never fuck with Charlie Welch when he wants coffee. When he wants to go to Tim Hortons.
Especially if Charlie Welch has the power of anime and God on his side.
Yeah, especially. So yeah, to play us out.
All right, yep. That was Zumi Show. I'll try to pick something not stupid next week. No, I'm just playing. That sounds like Mumford and Sons. That'll get us taken down.
It's not.
Okay. Just making sure, because it does sound like it.
Now I can't unhear it.
Yeah, Charlie, that's the new thing.